So if anybody has any questions for me, for everyone, anyone?
Hi. As Miss Vanessa said, ako daw magpunapin. Alright, hi ladies. My name is Fritz from Lagan sa Cebu. Also pageant vlogger here in Cebu. Mutya ng Pilipinas, like it's been a decade already, or I mean like one of the major pageants when you say it in here in the Philippines. We are just curious, what are new, or are there new grounds at stake for the Mutya ng Pilipinas?
So, I cannot disclose yet, but all I can say are there are new crowns to look at for this year. But I can't say. But there are new crowns.
Oh, we can't wait for that. And also, like, how many, does it take months for this competition? Like, normally, because I have, when I try to check some other pageant, like long talaga yung competition, like, how many months will it take for the Mutya ng Pilipinas?
For this year, it's going to start on November 15th, and the final night will be December 4. Yeah, so very short, this one. But even during my time in Mutya ng Pilipinas 9 years ago, it wasn't months, it was maybe 3 weeks also, so not much of a change this year.
So there a tendency that yung papadala niyo po is like prepared na talaga sa from Manila.
The girls?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there won't be a lot of time for training, but so the girls that we choose do have to be already ready, and I guess they just have to be fast learners, so that we will be able to still hold a bit of training for them before we send them out to Manila, because they'll be representing us, and we want to make sure that they will be in the top of their game by the time they represent us in Manila.
You mentioned earlier that you will be sending not only one but more ladies. So does it mean, because it's Cebu, which means they will also represent some parts of Cebu province, like the other pageants right now?
Yes, precisely. So there will be, depending on the organization, meaning the management team in Manila, there will definitely be more than one girl and representing where they're from in the Visayas region.
So ang dami kong tanong, no, sorry po. Like, for now, like before we send any candidates to Manila, we usually have here in Cebu some contests. Now we have this in Cebu, which means for then each or where there will be a contest ba for Cebu or directly sent off na po tayo for Manila?
So this essentially, the next few weeks will be the contest. We won't be holding a grand pageant. It would be just 2 screenings after this. So the first one being September 9. That was 1, and then there'll be 2 more on the week of the 16th, and then on the 23rd, and then a final one where we pick the favorites from the screening, and then we will call the finalists on that day, on the 30th. Yeah. So the question of how many girls per se, that's still a mystery. It will depend on, but there will definitely be a Miss Cebu, definitely be one, and then probably more. Well, definitely more. I'm sorry, there'll be definitely more. But how many? It's not sure. It could be 3, it could be 4.
Or could be more, kasi when you say Cebu, it's one of the powerhouse.
Exactly.
So we will be expecting talaga ng more.
Hi, my name is Vanessa from the Freeman newspaper. Good evening, everyone. First question, clarification lang. The 4 girls were called aspirants. So does that mean they are not yet official candidates? They can still be caught later on?
Yes, not yet.
Okay. So can we hear from the 4 of all the beauty pageants around in the Philippines? What made you decide to try out for Mutya?
Can you hear me, guys? Alright, good evening again. So yes, that's a very interesting question because yes, indeed, we have a lot of pageants in the Philippines already? And why Mutya? That's a very good question. Well, I always believe that Philippines has a lot to offer, and we're in an archipelago, which means we have different islands. We are composed of many different islands, and each island has something to offer. And me, in my case, I screen here in Cebu, but if ever I will be given this chance, I would actually want to represent my hometown, where I was born and raised in Mindanao, which is Zamboanga, Cebu. So I think that my hometown, this is my belief, and I believe other girls as well, that our hometowns has a lot to offer, and my hometown as well is not different from others. And if I will be in the correct platform, I think I will be able to bring my hometown with me. That's all. That's my reason why I'm with ya. Girls?
I just want to try new things because this is my first time pageant, national pageant. And I will be presenting my hometown, which is Biliran province. And that's all.
Of course, despite there being a lot of prestigious pageants in the Philippines, with the Philippines being a very big powerhouse in pageantry, I joined Dione Pilipinas because, of course, any opportunity to represent the Philippines on an international stage would be such a blessing, and it would be my pleasure to represent not only my province but also the country on an international stage.
That makes me the last person to answer the pressure. Anyway, the reason why I joined Mutya Pilipinas is actually because after my downfall in my recent national pageant, I think that it's time for me to step up. And it is a signal from me to the people that it is not my time to stop and give up in the world of pageantry. And I think that I still have a lot to offer, so I'm not giving up, and I will still try to join as much pageants as I can until I give up. But that is something that will never happen because I will not give up in the world of pageantry. And I think that Mutya Pilipinas has given me the chance and has opened another door of opportunity for me. So that is the reason why I've joined this pageant this year.
National pageant was this.
The last pageant that I joined was actually Miss Philippines Earth.
Thank you, ladies. Now back to Angeli. I'd like to ask if Miss Cory Quirino have any what's her marching order or reminders or tips for you? And is this the first time she asked you to be a franchise holder?
Yes, this is the first time she asked me. I was quite shocked with the offer, and it was also very exciting at the same time. Well, they held a screening last September 9, and I think only a few girls came. Is that correct? Yeah, like 8. So that's when they contacted me and said, there's so much potential in Cebu, and we think that we need to go back and have another one. So that's why we're continuing the search here. And so what you're saying is the Mutya ng Pilipinas has changed a bit. They're all about sustainability now, and you're gonna see it in the national pageant, what they're planning for this year. And women empowerment, of course. And there's a few things that changed in the requirements, like the height requirement is completely gone. We're more inclusive now of that. And then, yeah, back in my day, I was the shortest girl. And so yeah, the height requirement is gone. The age requirement has also gone up. And so it has become more inclusive, and I'm very excited to see the type of girls that we're gonna have this year for the national pageant.
Next question. Back in 2013, you made the Philippines and Cebu particularly proud with your back-to-back with Rizini Gomez. Can you go down memory lane? What are your fondest memories as Mutya title holder and eventually winning your international assignment?
Well, thinking about Rosini just kind of also brings me back to Mommy Jonas, Jonas Borsas, who was a big part of my journey. I would not have joined without him, and everything from the the very beginning to the very end, he was there for me. And Rosini and I also had a very close relationship from just the training days all the way up until the international pageant where she was too sick to turn down the crown at that point. So, but other than that, there were plenty of fond memories. I think my favorite was all the traveling. We got to travel all over the Philippines, and that's what I love about Mutya ng Pilipinas. There are partnerships with LGUs all over the Philippines. And also, when I did Miss Tourism, it was the same thing. There was a lot of travel all over the world, meeting new people, the bonding with the girls. I know you wrote an article with my runners-up, Maureen Montang and Alstis Lisa. So we made plenty of fun memories during our win that year, and I miss them.
Thank you so much.
So Ms. Angeli, the question is, who will be helping you in screening the candidates?
So we gathered sponsors for this event, and also the management team is also going to be very helpful this year. So we have some members of the management team in Manila, and then also our major sponsors will send a representative for each screening. But then in the final screening, when picking the girls, it will be very much dependent on the management team.
Hi, Chrissy from Z Lifestyle. So, what qualities are you looking for these aspirants that will be representing in the national stage?
So, Mutya ng Pilipinas being one of the oldest pageants, longest running pageants in the Philippines, they're still sticking true to their core values. So, it has to be a friendly, bubbly girl with it's really more about personality and being friendly and inviting people to come visit the Philippines. That was really what the core of Mutya is about. But this year in particular, there is a focus on sustainability, so sustainable fashion, even the environment. So the girls do have to have some knowledge with that and then bring something extra to the table. So it's all about promoting the Philippines, sustainability, and themselves. So that extra thing they can bring to the table.
Hi, I'm Ami from ZPH. What are the criteria for judging in winning Mutya ng Pilipinas?
So there is a criteria, I can't really remember now, but there's still the usual criteria. So we're still gonna have to see our girls in long gown, cocktail and swimsuit, and then there's going to be a Q&A. And then back in my day, we did a non-makeup screening. So I think there's also gonna be that. It's not that bad. But yeah, that was the major criteria. So it will still be the usual criteria.
Hi, Myung from Cebu Blogger Society. Miss Angie, what are your message or words for the aspirants?
To all aspirants, the girls here and the ones who want to apply, I urge you to come take on this journey to be the next Mutya ng Pilipinas. It really is a life-changing journey, and that's something you will experience, things that you will bring on for the rest of your life. And there's gonna be some hardships, of course, there's gonna be some challenges, but always face them with an open heart and with grace, of course. and you can't go wrong. So I urge all the girls from Cebu who's ever had a dream to become a beauty queen, Mutya ng Pilipinas is, I'd say, one of the best pageants in the Philippines to start that journey. And I know most of you know, I started and ended my pageant journey there because I was fully satisfied with my experience. Of course, I wanted to join more, but really my Mutya family is a part of me that's never left. I mean, I'm still here helping the organization. So yes, it's like family. So I hope that you will take the step in that journey.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that next. About you not joining again after winning internationally. Because we were talking about you a while ago that looking at you now, your physique and your looks, you're still very eligible to join if your age permits it. We would have loved to see you again join another one. But yeah, like for example, Eva, she joined Binibini after that. So, aside from being fully satisfied with your international crown, I'm sure a lot of people were tempting you, inviting you to join other pageants. But really, why not?
Okay, so yes, there's that. I was very happy with the organization, so I rode that wave as long as I could. I did get back into my professional career. I worked in Viva Entertainment, and then I started working in government. So I worked in the Department of Trade, and then in the Presidential Commission for Urban Poor, which was again such a great experience to serve the Philippines in another way. Not in a long gown, this time in business attire. And I did gain some weight, so that was one reason. I gained some weight when I was working corporate. But also, the year that I wanted to join Binibining Pilipinas, I was like, okay, I'm 25, this is the last year. Back then, the 25 was the age limit. It's a lot higher now. And I was like, this is the last year for me to join. Should I do it? I was gonna do it. Then I heard a rumor, Catriona Gray is joining. I said, okay, never mind. I picked my battles. So yeah, that was actually the main reason. But it didn't scare a lot of girls. Eva joined that year, I believe, with Catriona. Yeah. And that year, oh my God, I don't think I had stood a chance with those winners. That was one of my favorite years for me.
So you and Eva would have been in the same year, Sana, if you...
Maybe. We would have been. That was the year I was planning to join.
Yes.
All right, for the ladies, so that the viewers here can know. Now, when it comes to pageant theater, it's not only beauty, but with the brain as well. That's my favorite part, the brain. Now, can you tell us also just a little bit, what's the purpose of joining Mutya, or what is your advocacy in order for you to fit as the next one of the crowns or winning crowns for Mutya ng Pilipinas 2022 or 2023? That would be 2022. Yes. Go ahead, Ms. McKay. You ended earlier, so you started. Yes.
Alright, so my advocacy is, I'm still going to stick with my old advocacy in my previous pageants. It is still the environmental protection and conservation, particularly through recycling plastic wastes and repurposing them to make life-saving materials. So since we know that Mutya ng Pilipinas is also promoting sustainability now, I think it's about time for me to step up also and talk about this issue of plastic pollution, not only here in Cebu, but of course in the whole country of the Philippines. And we all know that the world will not be sustainable enough if we will be using plastic all the time. And I think it is about time for us to use plastic materials and repurpose them into something that could not only help save the environment, but also help save lives as well.
Thank you.
With my background in human ecology, I majored in clothing, textile science, and material culture. I started a business called Kuan, and I handmade clothing using indigenous textiles, and I actually partnered with Anthill, which is a local business here in Cebu, and I purchased their scrap fabrics and turned them into masks and other accessories like bags. And part of the proceeds of that go to Feed the Future, which is a community initiative that me and my cousin started. Right now we're working in Bohol, but hopefully with a platform like Mutya ng Pilipinas, I can bring it into the national stage and help a lot more people that way. So we're not only talking about sustainability here with the scrap fabrics, but also helping out with our fellow Filipinos.
All right. Well, as for me, my advocacy is about women and children's protection, which is also in line with Mutya's goal, which is women empowerment. And that is my advocacy. It is because I myself experienced unfortunate situations like attempted rape. I experienced that. And also, actually, the other day, October 6th to be exact, I actually had an arraignment. It's also still, I filed a case against someone, act of lasciviousness to be exact. It is because, I do not tolerate harassment, and women should stand up. Women should be brave enough, and we should stop hiding. I know, and I heard a lot of women who's gone to same situations and actually chose to be silent and chose to, close the doors and just hide and try to forget the past. In my case, it's been, I think, 10 years since I was almost raped, and that haunted me for many years until I finally decided to come out the closet and started to talk about my story. And I noticed that the more I talk about it, the more I heal. And that's what I want to bring on the table. I want to help women, not only those women who experience different types of abuse, but also women who are scared of their own insecurities. It's time for us to step up because, after all, women is the backbone of our country. We are behind, yes, we are behind those people, men, successful men in the business. And we've been standing, tall, shoulder to shoulder with those men. And I think it's time for us to do the same thing.
Yeah, about me, my advocacy is about teenage pregnancy, which is nowadays a lot of teenagers got pregnant because of unprevented intercourse. And I want, if ever, it's okay if I speak Tagalog.
Yes, go ahead, please.
May iwasan naman natin ito sa paraan ng paggagamit ng birth control pills or condom. Pero sana isipin natin na may pangarap ba tayo or ang pamilya natin ay naniniwala sa atin na may maabot pa tayo.
We're curious also, I've talked with Ms. Vanessa about this. We have a question because we have not thoroughly yet seen the criteria. Do you accept married or single mom?
Mutya ng Pilipinas still does not accept married and single women at this time. But it is great that Miss Universe organization has finally opened those doors. So I feel like it's just going to be about time that the local pageants and national pageants all over the world will start adapting this new rule. But this announcement of the Miss Universe organization adding married and mothers to the international pageant is very new. So it's going to take some time for the world, the national pageants to adapt to this. But I feel like it's going to be very soon.
I I just thought of this right now. I'd like to ask the four ladies, what are your impressions of Miss Angeli the first time you saw her?
Girls, who wants to go first?
First of all, we have the same name, just different spelling. But she was very, very graceful. She's, a good role model for all the girls out there, and I can see why she won Mutya ng Pilipinas and her respective international titles. So, thank you for gracing us with your presence. More.
Well, the first thing that Miss Angie said to me earlier was, "Oh, we love a girl with short hair. We love a queen, rather." And I felt so flattered actually because it has also been an insecurity sort of. And then hearing her say that, like from a person I've been looking up to since she won, it's such a good opportunity for me to see her in person today. And I think that seeing her right now, you can see how gorgeous she is, right? And she's also a very bubbly person, and I am so glad to be in her presence as well tonight.
Yeah, that's really true. Well, in my case, actually, I was really surprised because she's a head turner, and then when she arrived earlier, she reached out to me immediately for a best, and I was like, oh my god, she's very approachable. So I'm really surprised with her beauty, of course, and she's really down to earth. So yeah.
If we have questions from other media, please stand by. And please continue.
We just talk about like 5 minutes, but I think she's but hindi kasi kami masyadong nag-usap. So,
Hello, I'm Kingsley, and anyone can answer. Okay. So I actually have 3 questions, but the other question was already asked by that gentleman about married women now. So anyway, my question is, should trans women compete in a pageant like Mutya? Starting with you, Angeli.
Okay. So there's a video out there of me talking about this, where back in, I think 10 years ago, I said that I don't believe that trans women should join the pageant. And the video was cut, so it didn't add the part where I explained, so I'd like to clear that up right now. The reason why I said that I don't think trans women should join is because there are already limitations for natural born women itself. Like for example, the married, the age limit, and the height. So if the natural born women have these limitations already, there's already a criteria, and one of those criteria was to be a natural born woman, then we're just sticking with the rules. So that is why I said back then that I don't think they should join, because those were the rules. Those were just the rules. But now, because there's so much inclusion with now the age limit gone up, the married woman, the mothers even can join. Now that there's so much inclusion, I say, why not? Spain has already done it. There has been trans women in Miss Universe and in Canada. So it's different.
Yes. As for me, just like what Ms. Angeli said, there are limitations and there are also prerequisites to be qualified for the pageant. So as long as they met those qualifications, then I don't see any reasons why we should condemn them. After all, we are a democratic country, so yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the theme for Mutya is sustainability and inclusivity, is that correct? So I don't see any problem with transgender women joining. Anyways, at the very core, pageantry celebrates the feminine and woman empowerment. So I believe if you identify as a woman, I don't see why not.
For me, it's the same also because pag pasok naman sila sa qualities ng Mutya ng Pilipinas, why not? Diba?
They've already said everything. I don't. So I just would like to add. I think that if a transgender woman identifies as a woman, then there's no reason for them to be discriminated. Because I also think that transgender people and the rest of the members of the LGBTQIA community, they deserve to be respected as well.
Thank you. Last question. What to you is a modern day beauty?
Okay, a modern day beauty is, I know this sounds very cliche, but just somebody who's beautiful from the inside. Now, even men don't care so much for the superficial as much as they used to. Women are more empowered now. We have a voice now. In the past,